today we got some stuff to talk about. Namely, apparently there's been a big update to Wrath of the Righteous, Pathfinder. So, something that I actually hadn't noticed, but apparently Alcat has been very good about, updating the game and keeping it fresh with more content, more endings, mechanical updates and tweaks, making the mythic paths more interesting and more varied, and making sure it all feels good to play, right? And so I've actually been thinking maybe, I should give it a try and actually learn how to play the game well. What happened to my setup? Where the window? Oh, the window is still there. The difference is that now the face cam is flipped. So it was like this, but now it's like this. And it's like this so that I can actually look to my left and actually point to stuff on the left without having to like mentally flip things in my head, which caused a lot of distress for my brain. The brain did not approve. Let me actually put this a little bit. Just move it. Perfect. I should actually. Perfect. Actually, let's move it like so. Yeah, that works. That way you can still see Destiny's chair in the back. The cuck chair for Destiny. But as I was saying, Pathfinder has been Alcat has been updating Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous, a lot, and apparently they've put out a new update which is regarding the Dragon Mythic Path. There's some content there. There's some balance there. There's because it was one of the weakest classes in the Mythic Paths. I mean, in the game, and a lot of people didn't like it because it would just make you weaker, right, in some aspects, while not offering that much. And so they are apparently buffing it. And I've been meaning to try it out. It was one of the ones that I was interested in. It was that Angel and Azada. I really liked Angels because they're lawful good, and I like being lawful good. And the dragon also seems really nice. So I'm thinking of thinking about. I've been thinking about doing the something with Wrath the Righteous, and so in my mind, I was either thinking of going solo or going unfair, right? Do my first unfair playthrough and just suffer through the game, right? And with that, I was thinking of doing that. So I've actually bought all the DLCs recently, and by recently I mean today before the stream. But I want to see what this update is. I actually saw this person's video, Mortismal Gaming. I'm assuming people who are into Pathfinder: Wrath of the Righteous and other Owlcat games know who this person is. Um, and he's going to be talking about the update. We'll be reacting to that, and then we'll look at the patch notes ourselves as well if he doesn't. Or she doesn't. I have no idea who this person is. Let's watch.
What's going on, everybody? Mortem here, this time bringing you a look at Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous's upcoming Gold Dragon update, which was recently announced by Alcat Games, though I would say perhaps even slightly more noteworthy than that is the fact that this is in fact the final content update for the game that we'll be discussing. Literally, in the post they made about this one, they state in no uncertain terms that they have no more new mechanics planned or story content, anything like that. So
Okay.
while the game will continue to receive
So it's actually literally the perfect time for me to pick the game back up and take another look at it, right? If this is the very last bit, this would be the time to play the game at its fullest. So, quite interesting.
bug fixes and things, and they'll still be paying attention to bug reports as they come in, and may even work upon some quality of life updates. Content-wise, this update will be sort of the finale for
That's
the
a lot of
game,
dragons.
which is big news when you've been covering it as long as I have. But with that said, let's actually dive into it and talk about what we can expect here. Now, right away, obviously, this focuses on the Gold Dragon Mythic Path, which had previously been somewhat underdeveloped, I would say, comparatively even to things like the Devil, which
I'm reading this. You can't go a year without criticizing someone. That's such an immortal thing to say. You can't even go an entire year without talking some shit. Motherfucker, it's a year. Say a week.
recently got its own update. So right away we have updated visuals. Both the regular version of the Gold Dragon as well as the corrupted version received
You can see like the dark energy inside of it. That looks
new
sick.
spells and effects. So the regular Gold Dragon will see some of their spells have enhanced visuals, while the corrupted version gets a unique look for their transformation, being darker in color, more corrupted looking as you might imagine. But what's
Sick.
more, the corrupted version of the Gold Dragon also happens to take on some unique versions of their spell effects as well. So there's even some differences there. Now this is going to be accentuated by the fact that Gold Dragons will receive an updated spell book with their Mythic Path now as well, which includes 10 new spells, including, as I mentioned, some of them having corrupted versions that have different visual effects based on whether or not you are a corrupted Gold Dragon or not. Now, to give some examples of this, they talked about Dragon's Might, which gives you 50% extra damage for 1 round, 1,000 Bites, which gives you 3
50% extra damage for a round? That sounds like a very quick way to accidentally just fucking delete something.
extra attacks on your iterative attacks that will actually stack with all other attacks that you'll be getting. And Dragon's Wrath, which is essentially a dragon-specific version of Hellfire Ray. Now, beyond just the spellbook update and everything, they also gave a bunch of general updates to the spell list as well, changing when you'll get some spells, increasing damages and bonuses on a lot of them, reducing and removing cooldowns on things like the Dragon's Breath weapon, and perhaps most notably, or at least for the times it will be able to be used, your spells become empowered and maximized at Mythic level 10, which for the main game is a little underwhelming as you effectively have 2 fights left at that point. But for things like the game's roguelite mode or the DLC, Inevitable Excess, which takes place after that Mythic rank 10 as well, you could potentially see a lot of use out of that, which I thought was pretty interesting. Now, in addition to this, Gold Dragon also got a bunch of specific Mythic feats, largely aimed at improving Dragon Breath weapons. Doing stuff like adding negative energy damage to it, dispelling mind-affecting effects, increasing damage equal to your Mythic rank, healing your allies while damaging enemies, etc. More or less the things you would expect, I would say. Although
Yeah,
another
it feels very much like the Gold Dragon path is very much focused on healing the world. This is the Redeemer thing, right? This is neutral good, which is quite interesting because like the angel is very much focused on destroy the thing that is hurting people, just lawful good, fight evil, destroy it. Chaotic good is release people, make it so everybody can live happily and free and not feel like they're being oppressed by evil in the world. And then you have the dragon path, which is just redeem. Even demons can find redemption. Even these archdemons, not demon lords. Even these demon lords can be redeemed and be shown the light. And so having their breath be able to heal allies while damaging enemies is pretty neat.
interesting little addition to go right alongside that is
Very
the
neutral
addition
good
of the
vibes. I like it.
scaly kind domain. And
Ooh, that's new. That's really cool.
blessing if you're a war priest. This domain doing things like giving you a gaze attack as well as an animal companion actually, which is pretty cool. The blessing version for a war priest is a little different, of course, giving instead a natural AC bonus and then at level 10 a bite attack that can deal constitution damage. Now, while that's some interesting mechanical stuff, let's talk a little bit more about
It doesn't sound super strong, but that extra AC does sound nice.
about what this has to offer in terms of the Gold Dragon's narrative. Now, unlike the Devil, which got a whole brand new questline, the Gold Dragon, they took a slightly different approach, instead enhancing and updating the reactivity of a few different things along the way. Now, in particular, the Gold Dragon did get 2 new additional story beats, they said, allowing you to turn 2 characters onto the path of redemption, as is the want of an actual Gold Dragon. Now, the rest of the
Exactly what I was talking about, right? You get 2 more characters that you can redeem. That's sick. Also, I really like that portrait. I don't know if that's like from the game, but I really like that portrait.
the content is again more about reactivity, and this was done by adding 2 new deities to the game, the good and
Oh,
corrupted version of dragon gods Apsu and Dahak. These deities, like many other of the deities that you can pick inside character creation, will then have a bunch of reactivity in the game, and some of that is actually exclusive to the Gold Dragon path.
oh,
Though,
that's
of
awesome.
course, like any other
That's
deity,
awesome.
you will have access to these regardless of whether or not you're actively choosing to be a Gold Dragon. But much like a Lich who happens to worship or a Goth that has a lot of reactivity associated with it, you can kind of expect that same thing here in order to provide a
It's funny because like there's in this group of demons that you don't even fight. It's just a cutscene. You don't even fight them. These demons are literally some of the most influential demons in the world wound. Like people who played the tabletop version of Wrath of the Righteous would know that like Orangofta is super strong and super influential and like has this awesome scene in the tabletop. There's supposed to be a Marilith that's also here that isn't here. I guess they removed her because she appears later on. Like a bunch of the demons that appear here and that just get absolutely fucking jobbed are so important in the tabletop. And here they're just boop, done.
slightly smoother build up to the eventual transformation into a proper Gold Dragon. And then, last but not least, a small but important change. The corrupted version of the Gold Dragon has its alignment changed to Chaotic Evil, which is going to be
Ooh.
important for classes who have any sort of alignment restriction. So certainly I would say a solid change overall, as it didn't really make sense for the corrupted version to still be considered good after the fact. But that's pretty much everything to know about this one, and this particular update has been described as imminent, so we'll be seeing this one very soon. But do keep in mind, of course, this update is just free. There's no DLC or purchase associated
Cool.
with it, so these will just be added into the base game. And with this update, that finally means that if you're, the type of person that has been waiting for this game to be content complete, once this update drops, there you go. That's pretty much it as far as content for Wrath of the Righteous goes. And it has certainly been a pretty incredible ride, at least on my end. So hopefully you enjoyed all that, found the updates interesting. I'd love to know what you think about them down in the comments section below. But while this might not be my final video on the subject, I'm sure I'll mention it here and there somewhere, it's as good an opportunity as any to tell you that it really has been an amazing ride covering this game with you all, as it is, in fact, the game that allowed me to go full-time on YouTube ultimately. So it's an interesting thing.
That's good. That's good. It's nice to see other people being able to find their content niche and being able to reach that level where they can just dedicate themselves to their art and do that stuff. That's really nice.
To finally see that winding down in some capacity. But regardless of any of that, truly, just thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. May you wander in wisdom and have an amazing day.
Well, that was actually a good look through. He didn't look through the actual patch notes though, so I actually want to do that now and just read through these and see, because he went over them a little quickly. He didn't like show the text though. So he did mention that this is the finale of the effort to flesh out these mythic paths. This was the last one. All the mythic paths are fully fleshed out and fully complete, and the game is feature complete as mentioned. And we see here these new visuals. This looks sick. Look at that barrage. And yeah, this looks completely different. Yeah. It's just like a difference in lighting, but it feels really, really nice. You got the gold dragon here, which is good, and so it's all light, and the evil corrupted dragon here that is bad, and so it's all red and dark. Very nice. See here a showcase of the transformation into the evil version of the dragon. Very cool. This is from a previous update. Still really nice to see that they're reminding people, hey, by the way, it's like, hey, check it out. And then yeah, those spells that he mentioned, the Dragon Might. Hmm, he didn't mention this one, or at least I missed it. Get to summon some dragons. That's very nice. Medium silver dragons. I don't think that at the level you're getting this, they'll be super strong, but they might be able to, you know, delay enemies a bunch. So that might be nice. 1,000 bites. Cool. It's 3 additional attacks. He mentioned it was extra attacks, not how many it was, but 3 additional attacks is actually pretty nice. And then yeah, those beams, which is 3 beams at 3 rays, sorry, at 18th level, and then 1d6 points of damage per caster level. Okay, that's actually pretty strong. Half is fire, the other half is either holy or unholy. Okay. Then some extra mythic features which he mentioned were focused on the breath. So you've got the annihilating breath, which annihilates the life force of living foes. Living enemies struck by the breath take additional negative energy damage equal to the breath damage. Oh, so it just doubles the damage. Okay, pretty strong. Pardon me. Just double damage against living enemies, which is pretty much anything that isn't a construct or an undead. So mind clearing breaths. Ooh, mind affecting effects applied by enemies on allies are cleared, and you dispel all mind affecting effects from enemies struck by the breath, including effects applied by your allies while affected. Okay, so it removes all negative mind affecting effects from allies and all positive effects from enemies. Pretty nice. Empowered breath. Damage increases by a number of damage dice equal to mythic rank. Okay, and up to 10 extra dice. Very nice. And now it also heals allies equal to, okay, so the same, so this doubles the damage, or it adds an amount of negative damage equals to the breath damage. This adds extra dice, and this adds healing equal to the breath damage. That's really strong. These all seem very nice. So improvement and rebalance. What's this? After introducing new spells and features, we naturally felt it was necessary to also review and update the existing ones, such as moving some of them to be accessed earlier. Yep, this was mentioned. Empowered and maximized, allowing you to alter between damage types. Yep, this is a thing. Straight up increasing some of the damage and bonus numbers. Ooh, neat. Reducing or even removing the cooldown on higher levels, in particular the cooldown of Gold Dragon Breath. Ooh. Removing the cooldown on the breath would be a little OP, but yeah, it's definitely nice being able to breathe, on enemies as a dragon. It's kind of like a major feature, right? So that's pretty nice. And then the narrative thing about the gods and the redeeming characters. So we've added 2 new story beats available only for the Gold Dragon, where their Wisdom of Millennia has a chance to make 2 certain well-known characters take an unexpected turn to the path of good and redemption. Can you guess who they are? Personally, no. Oh, and while we're at it, we changed the corrupted Gold Dragon's alignment to chaotic evil. Evil is evil. Yep, sounds about right. And this is the last content update, but they did mention that they would be doing some quality of life improvements in the future. Okay. Okay, so this is very nice. It's definitely very interesting. Makes me want to check it out. So I will definitely be looking forward to a time where I can sit down and actually play with all of this stuff. But that won't be for a while because we're doing other stuff right now. But I am definitely looking forward to it, and I'll try and at least take a look at the game soon with the side content that also adds stuff onto the main campaign. I'll want to check that out since I only bought the DLCs today, so I haven't looked at that before. Regardless, this was a very, very nice update, and it makes me want to check the game out again. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you have any build suggestions. I'll probably play on unfair because I still haven't done that. I still also want to do that on Rogue Trader, but I'll probably do unfair on Wrath of the Righteous first. But regardless, um, make sure to leave a comment telling me what you thought about this and how much you're interested in this update. And I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one. Cheers.